Unspoiled Network podcast.
This is Unspoiled, covering the Hunger Games trilogy. Book 1, The Hunger Games. Chapters 10, 11, and 12, again! This time with RoShawn. In this episode, RoShawn's going to tell me how she feels about the Hunger Games sites being turned into tourist attractions. Welcome to Unspoiled.
Are you coming to the tree? They strung up a man, they say, who murdered 3. Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where dead man called out for his love to flee? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you?
Welcome to the show, everyone. I am Natasha.
I'm RoShawn.
All right, lady.
Yeah.
So, did you listen to the
I
episode
did.
with Miles, the whole thing, or?
I did. I listened to the whole thing. I
Okay.
didn't. I ended up listening to the whole thing eventually.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I just wanted to double check those of you who haven't listened to that. You may want to, because we might reference some things.
We
when
will
we chat.
be referencing some things. Yes, we will.
So how did you feel about these chapters, like before hearing he and I talk about it?
I was struck by a bunch of different things in these chapters. One of the things that jumped out to me was how completely different my reaction to Katniss's interview versus how everyone else seems to have seen her. Right?
Okay.
I was unprepared for how very much not impressed everyone was with her performance, because
Yes.
I thought she had just killed it, you
Same.
know? And what that did was it reminded me, and we had a conversation about the way the story is being told from Katniss's point of view, but then it really crystallized for me because you and Miles had a conversation about first person present tense narration, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you and I had talked about how, for me anyway, a lot of times when a story is told in this way, I can over-identify with the person that's telling the story because you're stuck in their POV.
Yes, definitely.
And what I realized, what crystallized for me was, I don't know how much of a reliable narrator Katniss is.
That's a good question.
Right? Like, I'm taking everything she says as fact. That's the way it was. That's what happened, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that that's actually true. I just don't know. I'm not saying that she's wrong, but I'm just saying I don't know if she's giving me accurate information. She's telling me what things look like to her, what things sound like to her, what things feel like to her.
Right.
But that might not necessarily be what's happening.
Very, very much so. Yes,
You
ma'am.
know? So that was an aha moment for me. And this fucking cornucopia. So the cornucopia had been thrown out in an earlier chapter.
Yeah, it's
when
mentioned.
when they're on the train and they first meet Haymitch, and one of the first things she asks him is like, what do we do about the cornucopia? Like, what's our strategy?
Mhm.
And he is just like, we're not talking about that. And then we don't talk about it. And then when we see what that shit actually is, I am like, how the fuck did we not talk about this?
I mean, he talked briefly about it when he gave them advice finally.
Yeah.
Basically, all it was avoid it.
Exactly. His advice is just like, you're not ready, go run the opposite direction. But I feel like I have a greater understanding of why that was on her mind.
Yeah.
Like if I had that information going into the game that this was a thing that happened, you're goddamn right. It'd be my first fucking question too.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And I think it's interesting that like she has this thought that maybe if he knew she could run fast, he wouldn't have given her the advice that he did. And I'm sort of like, maybe Hamish, you should have asked, can you run fast? Like maybe that would have been a good thing for you to just, find out.
And that's the thing too, right? Is Hamish is operating under the same presumption that everyone else is, which is that people from District 12 by default don't have a chance against the careers. So don't even bother.
Yeah.
It's not even worth my time to ask you if you can run fast because you are no match for these kids. Right. So my assumption is that's where Hamish was coming from. Like, it's not even worth me investigating because clearly you don't have a shot in hell against these District 1 and 2 kids. So just fucking forget about it. However, as a mentor and a coach, maybe it would have served to ask a follow-up question.
Yeah.
1 or 2. It wouldn't have killed you. But, that as it may.
All right, let's back up. We begin right where we had left off with Peeta having just said she came here with me. And I can't remember what you predicted her reaction would be like.
I can't remember either.
But I feel like you didn't predict that she was going to get violent with Peeta in the hallway.
No, I didn't see that coming. I did not see. She took it. She feels played, right? Which I think is an appropriate reaction.
Do you? Okay.
At this point, right? Because and everybody counsels her. Well, we couldn't tell you because you're a terrible actress and you wouldn't have been able to pull it off. But there is something, it never feels good to be made aware that people were talking about and planning things with you and around you, but without your consent and knowledge. That's just never a good feeling. It doesn't matter what the circumstance is. Nobody likes to know, y'all been talking about me? Y'all plotted something and didn't include. Nobody likes that feeling, right?
Yeah.
So I thought her, albeit maybe a little bit of an overreaction, I felt like I got it, right? I got it. Especially that they were in on it, didn't include her in it. And also she has come out of this interview feeling really good. And to also be told that everybody has a consensus that you gave nothing.
Yeah.
Your performance was forgettable. And you should be grateful that Peeta has done this subterfuge or this lie or whatever you want to call it, right? Because it's given you a story. Nobody likes to be a character in someone else's story, even though we all are. None of us like to be mindful of that.
And you don't want to be a character in somebody else's story when the point of what you're doing is to make yourself the main character in other people's eyes. Like,
exactly, right.
The whole thing,
and to be told
personality and then being like, yeah, you didn't do that.
Exactly. And to be told that like there's nothing about you intrinsically that's worth anything. You need outside help to even be worth remembering. That's a real blow to the ego. And Katniss has, and this is not a shot at all. It's going to sound like a shot, but it's not. Katniss has a lot of ego. I mean, we all do to varying degrees, Yeah. But she's got a lot of pride. And that it comes from where she comes from and what she's had to do to make her family survive, what she's been able to accomplish. So, she's got, feeling pretty good about herself in some ways. And to be told that, nah, you're not that special, without this outside help, you're wholly forgettable. You're not likable. You know,
Yeah.
these are continual shots to just like kind of like wear her down. And I get it. I get the resentment.
Yeah, it's interesting because like when I got to this part, her getting as angry and violent as she did, I was just like, bitch, you need to calm down. But and that's like a thing that is interesting to me, especially I already talked about like what my reaction to Peeta was as a character. And you have been pretty suspicious of Peeta, and like Miles was calling him like a manipulative scumbag. And it's so hard for me to set aside the way that I saw all of their reactions and all of these characters when I first read it and try and see it from where you're coming from as an adult who isn't like necessarily steeped in the same like YA bullshit that I was.
Right.
So I was super surprised that both of you aren't just trusting Peeta immediately like
That's
I
so
did.
funny.
And also I'm like, oh, isn't that cute that he has a crush on her and he's just doing it right now? Like, this is a great idea. And then her to be so offended and think that it makes her look weak. I was genuinely like, what are you talking about? I didn't get it.
That's so funny. I love that contrast though, you
Mhm.
know, the recognition that reading lots of a similar type of media can begin to inform our expectations of the new shit that we consume, right?
Definitely.
And primes us for what the rules are for a particular genre. And then and how much we insert in between the lines.
Yep.
You know, and it was a similar thing for like reading Harry Potter, because that was just unlike anything that I had read in 20 fucking years or more. So a lot of the sort of shorthand didn't work on me because I didn't get what it was referring to, you know?
Right. Yes. Yeah, so they have this altercation, and when she shoves him, he like cuts his hands because of
his hands get fucked up.
Breaks.
Yeah, she like knocks him into a vase. The whole thing shatters. There's blood everywhere.
And
I love how not bad she feels about it too immediately afterwards. And then later she's just like,
eventually, but yeah.
But at first she's just like, yeah, you were right to do it.
You're all they're talking about. The star-crossed lovers from District 12, says Haymitch. But we're not star-crossed lovers, I say. Haymitch grabs my shoulders and pins me against the wall. Who cares? It's all a big show. It's all how you're perceived. The most I could say about you after your interview was that you were nice enough, although that in itself was a small miracle. Now I can say you're a heartbreaker. Oh, how the boys back home fall lovingly at your feet. Which do you think will get you more sponsors?
I have to just pause for a second and say to everyone that's listening, we're still early we're not super early because this book is pretty short. I didn't realize how short it was, so I had a hard copy in my hand. But the idea that this is just entertainment, you would think it would stop grossing me out at this point. You would think that I would have like absorbed that and wouldn't be affected by it anymore. But kids, let me tell you, I have not absorbed it. I am still wildly affected by it. It is so staggeringly gross that I almost cannot wrap my head around it, except for the fact that I can wrap my head around it because it's not that far fucking fetched.
Yep.
It's not. I think Miles said something when you guys were talking about how this is both wildly imaginative and also like could be real life. You know, it's such a fine line between like, yeah, the circumstances of this seem so obscene and could never be real life. But if you take away some of the, you know, kids being like rushed, I mean, like if you take away some of the fantastic elements, it is not that far fetched from what we are living,
Yeah.
in a lot of different ways. I mean, there's talk about bringing a draft back. I don't know what the reality is, like how realistic that really is. But we did have a draft in this country, and we did fucking pull numbers out of a jar and send letters to people and say your number's up. You got to show up at this place, get some bullshit training, and then we're going to send you off around the world to kill or be killed.
Yep.
I mean, that's a thing we did and may do again in the near future.
And something that in the spoiler, I think it was the spoiler channel on Discord, somebody shared pictures from a Tumblr post, and they were like, just for y'all's reference, and they gave us photos of the actor who plays Peeta and the actress who plays Katniss at their actual ages in the book. And they were like, look at these infants and think how much harder this movie would have hit seeing people who look like that trying to kill each other instead of the 20-somethings that we actually get. We've got an 11-year-old girl or a 12-year-old girl and a bunch of teens that are young enough that some of them, even if they're 15, 16, may not have hit puberty yet. And I think of that all the time with the Army, seeing like, oh, you're legally allowed to sign up? You look like you're...
Yeah.
Really? Are you sure? 18, but you can't do a lot of other things at 18.
Yep.
Really weird.
It's super weird, And like my father-in-law was drafted into Vietnam. My father actually enlisted in the Army, but my father-in-law was drafted. And he was just like an 18-year-old kid, and letter in the mail, report here on such and such date, and that was it. That was it.
Shit is bonkers.
And so, again, I keep trying to ground myself and remember like what the story is, and then these little moments. This is all a show. It's all about how you're perceived. That makes you feel like, oh, well, this is fake and it doesn't have any real consequences. But no, it does, because you could fucking die. You literally will die. And it's so hard to reconcile those two things, Yeah. But yeah, so he tells her that, she should be basically grateful for this fucking charade, and she has no right to be offended. And then Peeta does this thing where he's just like, she's just worried her boyfriend at home's going to see it. And I beg your pardon?
Yeah, he sounds real salty.
Like, so this little moment, right? She's just worried about her boyfriend seeing it. Like, that could be, again, it's the kind of thing that, like, I don't know what Peeta means by this, because I am not in Peeta's fucking POV. But what it sounds like it could be. Oh my gosh. The kid who played Peeta, the actor Josh, whatever the fuck, is making the rounds on the interwebs, because I guess he's got something that's happening, a movie or a TV show or something.
Oh, okay.
But it was funny because I saw like a meme, and it was like, I didn't know my thirst for Josh, whatever the fuck, hadn't gone away. And like, obviously I didn't recognize his face. I've never seen the movies. I don't know. And it's funny because I had said to you, and somebody in Discord says who I was talking about, the girl that played Rue, and I was like, she's somebody, some light skinned like girl, right? It's that what is her name? Amanda Stahlberg, or
ooh, I don't know.
But she's like another one of like, and I think she actually is like biracial in real life. But so she was somebody who was kind of like an it girl. I don't know what happened to her career. I haven't actually seen her in anything in a while, but that's what I was thinking of. But Peeta, I have no idea who that actor is. I don't can't picture his face. So when I saw the meme, I was like, why is everybody thirsting over this guy? And then I like started to do some digging because I'm nosy as fuck. And as soon as I saw he was Peeta, I had to like nope out because I didn't want to get spoiled on anything.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently he's like a very attractive young man that people were like in love with when these movies were out. I don't know.
No telling what's going to get people. All I'll say about that. You know, sometimes
does he not do it for you?
Not for me. Not even a little bit. There's a lot of like heartthrob men who I am genuinely going, really? Like the kind of thing that even on film, it's clear from the lines that are being said and the way they're being filmed that I am supposed to find them really attractive, that I'll just be like not getting it initially, that, oh, he's supposed to be a real, you know, and I always feel kind of bad when it's like very obvious all of a sudden to me that, oh, I've been supposed to be impressed by him. Yeah, that's not what was happening, baby.
Yeah. That happens to me too, because I have a very specific thing that like gets me going. Like some very generic shit that we're all in agreement on. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's fine. He's hot. It's fine. But like my actual particular thing that I like is a very niche sort of thing that I'm into. So often, like the heartthrob of the day, I'm just like, yeah, I guess. You know, he's attractive, objectively speaking. Does he like get me all hot and bothered? Not particularly.
Yeah, there's like an empirical, like, okay, he has a symmetrical face and he's got like a square jaw and, you know, whatever, good hair.
Right.
But for me, there's no character to like. Look,
there's
the one
like
that always comes to mind. For
all
me,
the Avengers guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For me, it's Bill Compton.
Oh no, nobody thinks he's hot.
A lot of people do. RoShawn.
No, they don't.
A lot in that group that I'm
don't.
in. It's much more favored toward Eric. Don't get me wrong.
Eric's hot as fuck.
But there are so many everywhere.
Nobody thinks Bill Compton is hot.
I don't get why they cast him, man.
I
don't get it.
All right, we're gonna get derailed.
And the fact that Anna Paquin wound up with him in real life.
Listen, it must do what it do. Because I don't know what else to say about that coupling. Not when there's a whole ass Eric Northman that was right there that you could have been throwing it at. You gonna throw it at Bill Compton? Get the fuck out of here. I do also want to take this time to say that yes, I listen to you guys, you and Miles, who I want to thank for being the pinch hitter for that. But and I don't want to make a big deal about it, and we don't have to talk about it for a long time. But I just want to say, penis, no, no.
Yeah, I didn't even really want to tell you.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Was not a thing that happened. I refuse.
For those who don't know what RoShawn's referring to, it's their ship name.
No.
Peeta and Katniss.
No. It could, and you know what I was thinking in my brain? I was like, they could have went cat peeing, but that's even worse.
They could have gone,
what? What could they have done?
Kata?
Nope.
Nah, it doesn't work.
The fact that both of those ship names are so terrible tells me that they don't end up together in this book. You asked me earlier, and I was like, I don't know. Now I know. Okay. They don't end up together.
Noted.
If penis and cat peen are the options, they don't end up together.
Sorry, cat peen is really good. Oh my god, that is amazing. Penis and cat peen? Lord of mercy, okay.
So the other thing that bummed me out is that now that she's listening to everyone talk about how terrible her interview was, but she had been, again, let me say, feeling really proud of herself, like she managed to pull it off, right? Mm-hmm. She's looking at that performance through their eyes now, and all she can see is a silly girl spinning in a sparkling dress giggling.
Yeah.
And that the only moment of any substance she was able to manage was when she was talking about her sister.
Mm-hmm.
Like her her self-esteem is so wounded. It's so like that quickly. You know, she
Yeah.
goes from feeling really good about herself to being like, I fucking sucked. I looked ridiculous. I am ridiculous. And I don't like that. I mean, I don't like that for anybody. I don't like it for me. I don't like it for you. I don't like it for anybody when that happens.
Have you ever had a moment where you're like watching a TikTok or a video or something, and whatever's happening on the screen, you're kind of thinking, oh, all right, nice. And then you read the comments and everybody's like, this is so embarrassing. Or, oh, he really thought he ate with that. And you realize like your judgment is not the consensus at all. And you suddenly go, oh my God, am I just super wrong about like, everything?
And then I say, no, it's the children who are wrong.
That's the way. This is the way. So yeah, and like you said, they're telling her, we couldn't tell you because we needed your reaction to be authentic because you can't act. So you needed to look genuinely surprised and like it was possible that you had feelings for him, which apparently everybody read it that way. They were willing to go with that. So it worked, but was it worth it?
Yeah, was it worth it? And I don't know. Like the way we went in the next chapters when we get into it, like I don't know this narrative that he's selling, this star-crossed lover, that she doesn't know that I'm in love with her. She never even noticed me. And now, you know, we'll never work out because only one of us is going to survive this. I mean, it is brilliant marketing, you know, but how much of it is real? Do I believe he has? I believe Peeta has feelings for Katniss. What those feelings are exactly, I am not 100% certain.
Okay.
I know that he has been peeping her at home for a little while now, which I had a question about later on when they're actually in the games, because we know that he's been watching her. He knows that she spends a lot of time with Gale out in the woods hunting. He's hip to some of her tactics when she's out hunting. So there's a reason why he's been watching her, right? We know that they had these encounters in town. The one that she references a lot, that she kind of goes back to, that day outside the bakery. But I don't know exactly what his feelings are towards her. I suspect, and I don't really have a lot to base this on, except maybe my own paranoia, because I'm, you know, a wounded bird. But I suspect there is a low level of envy with Peeta in regards to Katniss. And I don't know if it is, because you have to, I have to remember, I keep reminding myself, Peeta's situation at home, right? The little we know about it, he has what appears to be a domineering and abusive mother, a father who appears to be capable, at least, of like some kindness and some tenderness. And I don't know what the dynamic is between the husband and wife at home, Peeta's parents, but you know, we see his dad separately and we see his mom separately. Yeah. And I don't know if he is envious of Katniss's perceived sort of independence and the fact that she is kind of the boss in her family.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know, I don't know what exactly. I don't know why he's been checking for her at home, but he has been. And like, so yeah, so his feelings for her, he has something. I just don't know exactly what it is. Gotcha. And it's probably a mixture of a couple of conflicting feelings that he probably doesn't even fully understand, because he's also just a kid himself.
That's true.
But I'm going to keep an eye on that.
Okay. So then we have the goodbyes, and Effie says the terrible thing.
Oh my God, fucking Effie cannot help herself, right? Like this is so on brand. And if it hadn't happened, I'd have been like, right. Oh, word. She just did a 180. She's a great person now. Oh, please. So I was really, really gratified.
I was not prepared for the fucking hairball hack. Oh my
But
god.
I was very, very satisfied that we got this because I was like, okay, thank you, because I wouldn't have bought it any other way. So I'm glad that the author knew enough to be like, oh, let me just make sure that people understand who Effie is. Like, yeah, it seems like she came around and helped them out, and everything, but no, it's not about them. It was never really about them. And the fact that her parting words are basically like, thank you for being not terrible. Maybe I'll get a better job now.
Yeah.
Good luck. Bye.
Hope you don't die, but you probably will. One day he has to. Sorry about it. And then they ask Haymitch for advice, and he says, when the gong sounds, get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
You're neither of you up to the bloodbath at the cornucopia. Just clear out.
This fucking cornucopia business, y'all. You and Miles were talking about, like, the cornucopia is a metaphor, and you were reminding him of a conversation you and I had about, like, kids that are lucky enough to get into a very elite prep school,
Yeah.
And I'm just like, the cornucopia is just like bootstraps, right? That's what the cornucopia is. Nope. Just like, we gave you everything you could possibly need. It's not our fault if you weren't strong enough to take advantage of it. What do you want us to just like
hand you everything?
Hack you up individual backpacks filled with all the supplies you would need and then hand them out to you one at a time? We're not doing that. What fun is that to watch on broadcast TV?
That's the final touch there. It's like, yeah, what fun is that for us to be viewing at home?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants that?
Right. And that's how we treat almost everything that we do that's supposedly altruistic, right? Or for the betterment of society or a social safety net, Like, if we can't, like, I don't know how many listeners have ever tried to navigate any of this in the States, at least. I can't speak to other countries, but if you're in the States and you've tried to navigate any sort of social welfare program, whether that is Social Security, disability, food stamps, Medicaid, welfare, which doesn't really exist in the way we think it does anymore. But, if you've tried to navigate any of those programs, and I have, the hoops you have to jump through.
It's so invasive, you guys.
The way you have to lay yourself bare as you're begging for help. It's almost as if it is for the entertainment of some nameless, faceless figure who is just watching it all on a giant screen in another dimension. Because what other reason could it be for it to be this way? If not for someone else's enjoyment. Because no other alternative makes any rational sense. And that's all I could think about when I was reading this. Like, no, we're not just going to help you because you need help. You got to make it entertaining for us. Come tell me your sob story. And fill out the forms in triplicate. And we're going to need doctors to, like, sign off on your sob story.
Right. We need to verify your sob story, and we need several external parties to grade your sob story on a scale of 1 to 10 on sobbiness.
Right?
Yeah.
Was this the sob I came for? No, it left me wanting. Denied.
If it's too sobby, it might arouse suspicion.
Right?
So be careful of that too.
You gotta find the right balance.
So yeah, they get this advice. She goes and showers, can't sleep, and then we have the conversation on the roof. And we have Peeta basically being like, "I don't want them to succeed in turning me into a piece of shit."
Listen, that shit flipped so fucking fast in that next chapter. Sir.
It do, though.
He is just like, when the time comes, I'm sure I'll kill like everybody else. I can't go down without a fight. But I just wish there was I could think of a way to show the Capitol that they don't own me. And this is a really wonderful thought, you know. Wishing I could find a way to show the
I'm
Capitol.
sorry, that sounded so patronizing.
I mean, I am being a little patronizing.
Oh, sweetie, what a lovely thought.
You know, I mean, but
everyone's so creative.
This idea that he wants to, like you said, he wants to die as himself. He wants to be the person he thinks he is and doesn't want that to change. Which feels to me like a real thing somebody would think, if you can try to imagine what it must be like to be about to start this insanity.
Yeah.
Right? You want to think to yourself, well, I want to just be me, though. I don't want to change who I am as a person. And I imagine that people who are facing these extreme circumstances probably think this very thing to themselves, you know. People, you know, join up for the service, or if you're drafted, you know, back then, you probably think, like, I want to survive this ordeal. I'd like to make it home to my family, but I also don't want to become a monster.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you kind of can't.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have so little control over your own destiny that you're in this situation to begin with, then you don't have enough control of your destiny to make sure you don't turn into a monster. Like, you've already don't have enough power. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's really, this is going to sound so dark, but it's futile. Like, if you're in this situation, that's it. That's it. I don't know how you beat this. And Miles said something about, I think you asked him, like, what does he think the whole thing is going to be about, or how is the end, or whatever. And he said something like, the only way to beat this system is to not play. But how do you not play when there are literally 20 other people who are very willing to kill you so that they don't die?
Mm-hmm.
How do you opt out?
Mm-hmm.
The only way to opt out is to kill yourself. That's the only way to say, I'm not going to play this game.
Yeah.
Either you just put down all your arms and you let the first person that comes to you kill you, or you just take your own self out.
Mm-hmm.
And that is such a shitty fucking set of choices.
Indeed. Yeah, he and I kind of were like, well, would you? Because I kind of feel like if I don't see that I would stand a chance, you know, so I might just go ahead and, like,
listen,
eat the berries that she found or something.
I am, first of all, I would kill myself. And I think you said the same thing, because the minute I see that pond and I'm dying of thirst, I'm face planting in that bitch.
Listen. Yes, she stops and has the foresight to use the iodine and then drink really, really slowly. And I was like, must be nice.
I'm dead.
Self-control? I doubt it.
Nope, I'm done right there. They find me floating in the pond with a smile on my face because I was so fucking thirsty. And that's how RoShawn does in the Hunger Games.
I don't know why, but that is really funny. With a smile on my face. Well, there it is, folks. So, yeah, this ends with her feeling like he's acting a little bit elitist. And, like, must be nice to be able to look at things that way. But if you want to actually fucking survive, you can't. So get real, dude.
Yeah.
To which he's basically like, wow, great, good chat, good to know. Because ultimately her response is, but who cares?
Yeah.
And
it's not
the nicest thing to say to somebody who's kind of being vulnerable.
He gets so, like, she's being vulnerable with Katniss has got to be really, really uncomfortable. Because at this point in her life, based on what she's been through, she just doesn't know how to do that.
Yeah. And
because she doesn't know how to do it, she doesn't really know how to be a space for other people to do it. And then you add on top of that, she's got all this conflicting, emotions about Peeta. Can I trust him? Can I not trust him? Is he playing me? Whatever. She's like all over the place. So of all people, Peeta is definitely not the one that can be vulnerable with her because her guard is so up.
Yeah.
And he has this moment and she's like, who cares? And he says, well, I do. Am I allowed? What else am I allowed to care about? And he's angry.
Yeah.
And she realizes that, he's feeling some feelings that I don't necessarily know how to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And she says something like, care about the games or care about what Hamish told us or something like that.
Staying alive. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like trying to like bring it back to terms she's comfortable discussing,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's a quick moment, but I think it tells us, I don't know how much it tells us about Peeta because again, I'm really off kilter with what to make of him, but I think it tells us a lot about her.
I mean, yeah, she's not, like you said, not comfortable talking about the emotional, philosophical side. She wants to have the practical conversation only, which I mean, I can be like this myself. Unfortunately, I'll take the time to have the philosophical conversation with you when we've got an hour of room to chat. But I'm on the roof the night before the thing. I'm not doing this. I'm not interested in like making room for this conversation now because what fucking good does it do?
What does it do? What does it serve us in this moment? And this leads me to another conversation you guys had where I don't know if it was started between you and Miles or somebody in the chat brought it up, but there was a conversation about why Katniss seems to be not as prepared for the games as one would think she would be, considering how many times her name is in that fucking jar from the Tesseract.
Right.
And I can't remember who said it, but I agreed that it really seems like the kind of thing that you just cannot afford to think about in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
At least the way Katniss approaches life, right? To your point about the practicality of the thing. That's her motivation. I need food to feed my family today. I can't worry about what might happen tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
And that has been how she approaches every day since her father has died. And part of that is out of necessity, but I also think there's a real strong sense of necessary denial. Because otherwise, how do you keep putting your name in that fucking jar? Yeah. How do you keep walking to that office or whatever the deal is and signing up for that shit if you let it enter your conscious mind for even a millisecond? Then you can't do it, right? How would you do it? So I hadn't, until it was mentioned in the chat, it had never even occurred to me to question because I just felt like, no, of course not. Of course not. And it's like when you're poor, and you have to spend money on something and you can't afford it, but you have to do it. And it's going to make you short on something else that's as important in just a matter of days. But you can't think about that other thing because you got this thing in front of you right fucking now. And I think a lot of people don't know what that's like because they haven't experienced it themselves.
Yeah.
They just can't really comprehend what that is like to live that experience.
I think you're right. Yeah, the idea of long-term thinking is a luxury. Yeah, it is though sometimes.
It's like the thing people always say, like, how much more expensive being poor actually turns out to be. And you and I were talking before we were recording about like the quality of merchandise you buy.
Yeah.
And you buy a cheap pair of shoes because they're cheap and you need them now, even though you're going to have to buy 5 pairs of shoes to equal the one good pair that you couldn't afford that would last you 5 years. Like, poor people aren't stupid. They know the more expensive shoes are better quality and last longer, but they don't fucking have it.
Yep.
So they got to keep buying the cheap shit over and over and over again and ultimately end up spending more money.
Spending more money for a worse experience and less convenience and like, you know, everything about it is worse. Everything. It's so annoying.
Yep.
And you judge yourself because you like forget that things are set up so that you have to keep rebuying them. So you start to be like, well, I probably don't need another pair. I mean, yeah, these are seeming kind of weird, but I only bought them a couple of months ago because you want to think, am I just being irresponsible? Am I just trying to buy a new thing? When really it's like, no, these were built to fall apart. That's the purpose of them. That's the point.
Yep.
Anyway, so that conversation ends super well with her being like, yeah, I'll definitely tell your mom over your corpse. Thanks for the fucking vote of confidence. And she takes off. And in the morning, Cinna comes to her and she gets picked up and brought with him to the launch room and gets a tracker put in and just has like a brief conversation with him about everything. And this is the part where everything is brand new. I will be the first and only tribute to use this launch room. The arenas are historic sites preserved after the games, popular destinations for capital residents to visit, to vacation. Go for a month, rewatch the games, tour the catacombs, visit the sites where the deaths took place. You can even take part in reenactments. They say the food is excellent.
This was so fucking hard to this and you guys talked about it on the chat, so this is going to be a little bit of a repeat, but fucking hell, don't we do this? Haven't we done this? Don't we continue to do this? And you mentioned, rightfully so, something that people often don't like to talk about, but lynching parties.
Yep.
You know, and how they were fucking picnics. People packed a lunch.
Yep.
And brought their children, fucking children, toddlers.
Yep.
To see
there's
people.
Photos.
Yeah, there's photos. And this was not that long ago. These people are still alive. The parents are probably super old, but the kids are definitely still alive. And to watch a fellow human being be strung up, burned, mutilated, and then they took souvenirs home.
Yes.
They took bits of the body. Let me get a nose. Let me get a toe. Let me get a finger. And then they took it home and put it up on their mantle. Like, this was not that long ago that we participated in this fucking depravity. So the idea, and like the you talked about it again, fucking wedding plantations.
Yep.
Like they're, I'm not going to get into a whole thing, but yeah. So this all fucking tracks. And then even take it back even further, you know, I haven't because I'm poor, but people still go and they tour like the Colosseums in Rome and shit, where we like, they fed people to lions.
Yeah, we romanticize it as if it's like, oh, you know, it was a show. And it's like, no, those people were really slaves and really died, you know, but yeah, let's just pretend that's not.
Yeah. And you can book a vacation and go get your picture taken there. Like it's a okay thing to do.
We can rationalize that because it's ancient history.
Oh yeah.
But the fact is, it still was what it was, and we still do what we do.
Yep. And we'll do it again. We will just continue to fucking do
and
it.
I'll do it again. Why that got me so bad.
But yeah, because we don't fucking learn.
No,
we don't learn. We do not learn. It's like that meme that's going around, like you're fucking failing an open book test. We just keep doing the same shit over and over and over again. So yeah, all of this whole idea that like the games are over. And it's not enough that people got to watch it on TV, right? They have to go and be there themselves, which is just another level of like human nature that's so gross that we really need to spend some time looking at. You know, it's not enough to say, oh, well, I watched this horror show on TV live, but now I'm going to plan a family vacation so I can go there in person. Because it's never enough for us. It's never enough. And isn't there a bit here too where they talk about the guy that turned into a cannibal?
Yes. Yeah, because he's like, I don't want them to turn me into a monster. And she's thinking about how they probably assisted that young man in death because making sure a lunatic was not the winner,
right,
would be a priority for
like,
them. But
and yeah, that's a really like, it's a quick line and she doesn't go into it, but that is a really wild fucking distinction that the powers that be made. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, well, we want somebody who was successfully killing other people.
Yeah.
But they can't have been doing it in a way that's like distasteful.
Right? They're not distasteful, and they shouldn't enjoy it that much.
Mm-hmm.
Like we want our winner to be a survivor, but they also should not have enjoyed the killing too much.
Yeah.
Like, what do you fucking want?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. We want a hero that's not a villain. But how is your hero who killed everybody else not a villain?
Yeah.
So you have to make these weird ass arbitrary rules about what's acceptable killing. So you can smash somebody's head in with a rock, and that's cool. But if you eat them, oh, you went too far.
Oh my God. It feels so true. Just like, you know, the weird lines we draw. It just sort of reminds me of how, like, especially in the US, we have this weird thing where like sex is off the table, but we will show people getting disemboweled and it's no problem. And not trying to compare cannibalism to sex exactly, but you see what I mean. Just like, there are things that we will tolerate and be completely fine with, fist pump, cheer on, but it crosses this particular line that really, when you step back and look at it, is sort of arbitrary in the grand scheme. Like, if you're gonna be like real about it, maybe eating people, like, the purpose to killing them and is that you're going to eat them is better than just killing them for the fucking sake of killing them.
At least you're using all the parts.
This is what I'm saying. Don't quote me on that, but you know, I would stand by it. So she gets given her uniform and her pin.
Oh yeah, she gets her little Mockingjay pin back. Senna gives it to her, and it turns out that he had to get it cleared, right, to make sure that it didn't have any fucking like secret weapons.
Yeah,
which I
forgot about that.
I thought that was pretty neat. And apparently, somebody had a pin that turned out to be like a blade or had poison or some shit. It was
a ring that had like a spike.
Yeah,
that like came out of it.
So, but hers passed the test, and she's able to wear it. And I feel like that's going to be very meaningful later on, even though I'm not exactly sure how or why, but something about it just feels very like, okay, I should make a note that this is a thing.
Gotcha, yeah.
And then this whole way that they take her. Oh, Senna also asked her if she wants to talk as they're like waiting together for her, like this hovercraft that comes, and she doesn't really want to talk, but she grabs his hand a little bit tighter. And I really like Senna. I know that he is part of the machine. You know, he is at the Capitol. He's doing this job, this really ludicrous job when you think about it, like a stylist for a fucking sacrifice.
Yes,
is so bizarre, but that's what it is. So, even though I understand that he is part of the problem, I really like Senna. And I want a redemption for him, but I have no idea what that would look like. I don't even know if it's possible. But I want some kind of arc where he turns out to, like, throws off the shackles of the Capitol and all this bullshit. You know, but I don't know how that would work, and I don't even know if that's possible, but I want to be able to root for him.
I definitely get that, though. Yeah. There's you know, it's a really interesting question. Like, are you inherently a bad person if you live in the Capitol, if you participate in this thing? And really, it just feels like, how can you not be? You know?
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like a bad person, but also...
Well, here's the thing, though, right? This is like, Senate is like a lot of us without like the high profile job, you know? Like, we are participating in this system. All of us are complicit, participating in a system that oppresses people and subjugates people and exploits people. Everything from our clothes that we wear and our phones in our hand. We know the cost of those things. We know the human cost of those things, right? Are we bad people because of that? In a big scale picture, yeah. Yeah, we are. I am, you are, people listening are. But are we individually terrible people? Like, if you meet us? No, we're not. And that's the thing. Both of those things are true at the same time. You know? And it's fucking difficult to reconcile that and figure out, like, how we can be less of the bad person and less complicit in the things and the big things, TM. And I don't know. Like, each of us has to figure that out. And I don't have the answers. You know?
Yes, I do. Yeah, it's a really... And it's like, if you want to remove yourself from this, how do you do that? Because inherently, having the means to remove yourself is privilege.
Yep.
So how do you manage it?
Yep.
You know,
it's and that's the thing too. Like, I try to be really mindful. Like, one of my personal things that I get really pissy about, and like needing to address climate change is a really good example. Where I live, I live in the suburbs outside of Philadelphia, in a township, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my township, only my township, has, and actually Philly has done it as well, has a ban on single-use plastic bags. Okay. So you go to any store, you're not getting a bag. You got to bring your own shit.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go 2 miles in any direction, like if I go to my in-laws' house, their township doesn't have that. So, like, if I go to my local grocery store, I got to bring my bags. If I get in a car and go 2 miles over, I can get all the bags I want.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the idea that by limiting the bags in my one township is really doing a thing when the big actors are not being, restricted in any way whatsoever.
Yep.
It's kind of bullshit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's like the straw debate.
Oh, yeah.
It's bullshit.
Or the one that I like, which is a tweet that went out about how, I think it was a airline that ran 200 empty flights in order to keep their slots on a thing. Mm-hmm. And this person relayed this information and finished with, "I'm really glad I recycled that can of tomato juice."
See? This is what exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, putting the onus on individuals when you're ignoring systemic issues, that's nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't absolve the individual from making more responsible choices. It's just it's tricky business, y'all. It's tricky business.
They really, man, though, that guilt trip is so real.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and really quickly, I just want to mention this whole way that she gets into the fucking hovercraft with this cylinder that comes down.
Yeah.
And then, like, she puts her hand on the ladder, and then, like, there's, like, an electrical shock that, like, freezes her body in place.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right?
Which...
Well, the cylinder is for getting brought up to the actual arena.
Oh, right.
But the hovercraft's the ladder, yeah.
Yeah. There's got to be a better way, right? Do they need to do that to her whole body to make her stand on that ladder? Can't he just say, hold still? They can't just shout down, like, hang on tight. Just feels rude.
Oh, that's funny.
Considering what she's heading into, it just seems like a little,
overkill.
A little bit.
Yeah, and the person like who's injecting her with the tracker is like, well, we need you to be still so we can inject this. And she's like, I mean, I could just stay still, but sure. Which is where I come down on it. It's like, I mean, you don't need to like immobilize me, but sure. Fine.
But why not? That just seems to be the way you do everything. So
right, I guess that is what it comes down to. It's just like they're just going to make it so that they get their way.
Yeah. It's a really good reminder too. It's funny, but it's a good reminder of just again how completely lacking in power of any kind that these tributes are.
Yeah,
they just. Yeah, people are just like, I need you to hold still, but instead of just asking you to hold still, I'm going to do this thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no warning either. She just grabs the thing thinking it's a regular fucking ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise.
And it just reminds us who these tributes are.
Yeah.
In relation to the bigger thing. They're nothing.
Yep. So she goes above ground. And they have to wait for the countdown, and she spots a bow.
Yeah.
And she has to make a choice
that
here.
That thing is calling to her, too.
Yeah. And she's really struggling with whether or not to go for it, because she feels like if Haymitch had known that she was a fast runner, he would have been like, maybe you should go for it. But at the last moment, Peeta distracts her in such a way that she loses her shot at being able to like really go for it.
Yeah. And she's so sure. She's looking at it. She's like, that's mine. It's for me. It's meant for me. She looks at Peeta and she thinks that she sees him nodding no.
Yeah.
So this is another moment where I'm like wondering about the reliability of the narrator, because she says he seems to be indicating that she shouldn't go for it. But we really have no idea what Peeta is thinking in this moment. If he's really nodding at her, if he's just surveying the scene, if he's thinking about something to himself, is he, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what he's really doing. We know what she interprets his actions to mean, but I don't know if he was signaling to her at all. I really don't.
Yeah, but it doesn't stop her from being pissed.
Yeah,
she misses her shot.
And that's the thing too, right? Like she's looking at him. She thinks she sees him saying to her, "Don't do it." Then she realizes she's missed her shot. The time is gone, and she's angry and pissed at him. And it could very well be for something that he wasn't saying at all.
Yeah.
Now, also, I want to be fair and say if I'm believing the idea that Peeta wants the best for her within reason, right? I don't believe he wants the best for her in the sense that he's ready to die so that she wins. I'm not there yet. But say he really is saying to her, don't do it, don't do it. That brings up other questions. Because we find out later that he, in fact, did the same. He did it. Did the thing he told her not to do.
Now, see, I meant to ask Miles about this because Miles' assumption is that he did the same thing because he's injured. Is that where you're getting that information?
Not because he's injured, but because he's with them. And in my mind, the only reason he's with them is because he goes for the cornucopia. And the only reason he's not immediately like massacred is because the careers have decided they would not hurt him if they can use him.
Gotcha. Okay.
So in my imagination, Peeta, it's possible they come come across Peeta later. Like, it's possible Peeta does also run away, and they just find him first. And they decide amongst themselves, hey, if we find this kid, this is how we should handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's possible. But my reading of it was, my first assumption was that, yeah, he went for the cornucopia and doesn't get killed because they have decided that, oh, if this kid shows up, this is how we should play it. We should let him like hang out with us, make it seem like he's one of us because he can get us to this girl.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Well, we are ahead of ourselves, but not that far.
Not that far.
She goes for a pack. Sort of almost like she frames it as like out of revenge for him fucking with her. She decides to risk it a little bit. Gets this pack. Another boy grapples with her over it and gets stabbed by some chick throwing knives.
I love this. She fucking uses that backpack and then the knife lands in it and she's like, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
She uses that knife a few times too. So that definitely came in handy. And she takes off running downhill.
I love too that she goes for the pack out of spite because she's like, I'm not leaving here with nothing. God damn it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's the really strong sense for me is just how she's like, fuck all y'all. You know what? Give me something. But yeah, she goes downhill and we find out later that almost half of them died there.
Oh God, it's so bad, y'all.
Yeah.
This first day is a fucking bloodbath.
Yep.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ. It's 24 kids to start. And by the end of this, like 13 or 14 of them are gone.
And it really feels like that's the point of the cornucopia, is to like thin the herd.
Like, what's the point of having 24 fucking kids if you need to thin the herd on the first fucking day?
Because you got to start things off with a splash and then you just have the best ones left.
See, I need to watch more reality TV.
I'm just making that up.
I watch a lot of reality TV. Well, I don't anymore, but I did. But I never watched competitions. I only ever watched drama.
Okay.
Like I watched like all the like Basketball Wives.
I never watched that.
Girl, that shit had me in a chokehold. Oh, it was so bad. But yeah, I was in bad. And then I watched like Housewives on Bravo. But I never watched like Survivor or what is it? The fucking big race around the world.
Amazing Race.
Called.
Yeah, I never watched those.
I never watched that.
There's The Circle.
Oh, that's probably the only competition reality show I ever really watched, not counting Drag Race.
Yeah.
But like the kind of things where you get like a group of people and then they're all like fighting each other for a grand prize.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, I watched Road Rules, which was one of the first like reality shows that did that.
Forgot about that show.
That used to be my jam. Like I loved Real World for the drama, and then Road Rules for the competition. But after that, I never watched anything else, so I don't really get it. But like, so yeah, I don't get why you'd have 24 kids and kill half of them on day one. That just seems like poor programming.
In my opinion, 24 is too many for the audience to keep track of all the time. That's too many people for everybody to be concerned. It's like when you start off Great British Bake Off and you start, I don't remember how many you start with, but however many it is, it's too many. You don't care enough. Nobody can get enough screen time for you to get invested in them as a person.
So just start with a lesser number.
No, the point is not for things to be reasonable.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
The point is to punish the districts and make it entertaining. And so killing them all off as quickly as you can and making sure everybody has to contribute and be invested, but ultimately for nothing, that's the entertainment.
Ah, I see.
It's
boy, yeah. It's real dog eat dog.
I mean, sometimes they don't like it, but sometimes.
What a weird expression that is.
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, they don't actually do that.
I mean, I think the implication is that in desperate scenarios, they do indeed. But I don't know. But yeah, so she's heading out downhill and is remembering that Haymitch advised them both to find a water source as soon as possible. And at first, it's really feeling like, no problem. I'm heading out to find my water source. And then time just keeps passing and she keeps not finding it.
This goes on forever.
Mm-hmm.
And she's heading through her first day, and I think it says something like it's like late afternoon, and she starts hearing these cannon blasts.
Yeah.
And the cannon blasts represent a dead tribute. And we also find out that they don't really like show you how they've died.
No.
They just like show like their I'm going to call them title cards.
Basically.
You know. But that's it. And in the thought process is you don't show them how they die because you don't want to, like, I guess, give like hints of good ways to kill people, which is a really
weak
weird
spots
thing, right?
Yeah. Because I mean, like, if you see somebody get killed by a particular tribute, if you see the replay and you see that tribute got injured, you'll know they're you know, ripe and ready to be picked off.
That's actually a really good point. That's okay, that's good. All right. Not that I want to side with
Sean is siding with the game makers. She's like, good job, game makers. Good looking out.
But it's
I'm just gonna mischaracterize everything wildly.
I feel terrible. Like as I was saying it, I was like, oh no. But yeah, it's like 11 kids. And she has no idea, like, who they are at this point. And there's a moment where she's just like, I wonder if Peeta made it.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, did he make it through the day? And the best she can do is like, well, I guess I'll know when they start showing those faces in the sky. And this is another weird thing because, and it comes up when they're on the roof, too. This barrier.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it comes up on the roof. I think there's like I don't know.
He tosses something out to show why
why
can't just kill themselves by throwing themselves off. Yeah.
And so like this arena that they're in, it feels weird to call it an arena because it doesn't feel like it when she's on the ground. But they're able to project shit into the sky, which suggests I guess you don't necessarily need to have like a dome overhead. I guess you could just project an image into the sky. But in my imagination, this whole thing is domed.
I am going to go ahead and say you are correct.
Right? Because it feels like they can control the weather. They can, you know, whether it's bright outside, whether it's raining. And so in my mind, they project this thing up top, and that's how you can see like who made it and who didn't make it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so she just says to herself, well, I guess I'll just know whether Peeta made it or not tonight.
Yeah. And
then she starts to think he might already be gone, Peeta. And she gets like, I don't know if emotional is the word in the book is she's overwhelmed by the thought that Peeta may already be lost.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So the thought that he didn't make it really takes over her. And she's trying to, like, it says, I try hard to remember if I saw him once the action started, but the last image I can conjure is him shaking his head as the gong rang out. She has no memory of what happened at a cornucopia. She doesn't see him anywhere. She doesn't, like, in her mind's eye, she can't remember, like, did he run towards it? Did he run away? Like, it's all, like, blank. Which makes sense because she's dealing with herself in those moments.
Mm-hmm. Yes. She has her own concerns.
And she thinks, well, maybe it's better if he's already gone. Because he didn't even think he could win. And I won't have to kill him if he's already dead.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, she's not wrong, but also, like, our protagonist isn't supposed to be this pragmatic. She's supposed to be, like, sobbing, right? She's supposed to be, like, crying in her food.
It should have been me.
She is not doing that at all. Not at all. And like, I don't want to sound like a terrible person, but I'm low-key kind of here for it. It's so unexpected. To have a protagonist that is just like not doing all the things that I expect the protagonist to be doing.
Yeah.
Like crying at the right moments and being sad at the right moments. And you know what I mean? Like, she's not doing any of that. And it's all probably because she's very emotionally stunted due to trauma. So, you know, it's not necessarily that it's aspirational. It's just that it's very different than what I expected.
Yeah. And I really have, like I said, I did not like her when I first read these books.
I see why.
And looking at it now, I can really appreciate how the kind of person she is a reflection of the brutality of the conditions that she has lived in. So she feels really unrelatable to me in certain ways, because I have a level of comfortable privilege that she doesn't have. So it, like, of course, for me, I'm just like, oh my God, girl, wow, you know, but it makes total sense. So it's actually like kind of amazing writing to be like, we're going to do this thing, but we're actually going to have the main character be profoundly affected by the circumstances they grew up in, versus other stories where the character allegedly grew up in these tragic circumstances where they had hardships, but it doesn't seem to have really informed who they are in a substantial way. They're still this like good-hearted, optimistic person, which, like, let's be real, it's unlikely.
Right.
That's not like it can't happen, but there's a level of unhealthiness that naturally like gets woven into your personality when you have that kind of trauma. And there's so few fictions where the main character displays that kind of unhealthiness.
So rare, because I think with good reason, a lot of authors understand that you need your main character to be likable. Otherwise, why are people fucking reading your shit? You know? And it's not that we don't know how to read something and enjoy something where the character isn't likable. It's just that I think it must be difficult to imagine that someone would want to read your shit if that were the case. So it takes a real sort of like leap of faith to be like, yeah, I'm going to write this story and this is who's going to be my main character. And yeah, she's not going to be great all the time. And I just trust that my readers will get it. It's very rare.
So she, like we said, just really struggles for a while trying to find something to drink. She does come across some rabbits and is feeling pretty good about having found game, and manages to like snare something, and we get some info about how she learned the snares from Gail.
Yeah, this whole thing about the rabbits made me laugh because there was a point when my mom was working with somebody who had a rabbit farm. She was still living in Georgia, and I went to visit her one time, and she took me into this. It was like it was a barn, but it was set up with like just cages and cages and cages of rabbits, and my mom would skin the rabbits.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. My mom has done all kinds
brutal.
Of you guys don't even know. It's
you are correct.
But, so I went to. It took me to say hi to them when I went to visit her one time, and I walked in, and there was like 2 people in there working, and yeah, they were just doing the thing, like crack the neck, upside down, skin it, did the whole thing, and I was just like, I was not prepared for this. I thought we were just stopping to say hello to people.
Oh God. Yeah, you need to get warned about that kind of activity taking place. I mean, that's
no warning. And it was like on someone's like personal property. So like we went to the house first and like met the family, and then mom was like, oh, let me show you the such and such and go meet so and so. And I was like, all right. I just left this nice house. Everybody was very pleasant. And then next thing you know, we were in the killing fields. I was like, how did this happen?
Oh man. I don't care for it.
I didn't care for it either.
So finally, she is at her wit's end and is really thinking that there's just no way I'm going to make it. And,
Are you talking about her going to the water?
yeah.
Oh, because we haven't talked about her being in the trees yet.
Oh, yeah. I keep thinking that the trees happens after, but no, you're right. It happens before because there's 2 days that pass.
Yeah. So the first thing that happens is she, after she gets done thinking about whether or not Peeta made it or not and who died and who didn't, she opens up the backpack that she got and she's got like, it turns out to have a sleeping bag in it, which is really clutch because it's one of those heat joints where it like retains her own body heat to keep her warm. So that's fucking right on time.
Yeah.
It's got like some crackers, some like beef jerky or some shit, and these iodine tablets and all this shit is going to be super important later on. And she sets herself up in this tree, picks a perfect tree, straps herself in a way that I didn't really understand, so I'm not going to get too deep in that.
Yeah, it's fine.
But straps herself in so that if she should fall, she won't like go hit the ground. And it's chilling. You know, she's got a good setup. And then she watches all the title cards in the sky, and we see who didn't make it. And it's a girl from District 3. And they go in order of district. So they start at District 3. So that tells her that the careers from 1 and 2 made it. She's not surprised. Then there's a boy from 4 who didn't make it. There's a boy from District 5. Tributes from District 6 and 7. And the boy from 8 and both from 9 all go down. And she realizes that Peeta is not included. So that means he made it. And there's relief.
Yeah.
And she says, she tells herself one more time that if she dies, if Peeta wins, that will at least benefit her mom and her sister. So that is like something to sort of like root for.
Yeah. And then we have this person.
Oh my God, this fucking person. This person comes creeping up, snapping twigs left and right. And then they light a fucking fire.
Yep.
And she is incensed.
Oh my God, she's so mad.
This is also how I would die, because I would have lit a fucking fire, y'all.
This is what I am saying. Same. I would have died so many times over. Like, don't even get me started. I would have been hopeless. Everybody watching would have just been, it would be the kind of thing where they're like holding their betting cards and they see me do this and they just throw their shit down in disgust. Like,
right?
Oh, fine. I fold. And this asshole has lit a fire because it's cold. Oh, is it cold?
It's a little chilly outside. I should light a fire and tell everybody exactly where I am.
And I love this. I lie smoldering in my bag for the next couple of hours, really thinking that if I can get out of this tree, I won't have the least problem taking out my new neighbor. My instinct has been to flee, not fight, but obviously this person's a hazard. Stupid people are dangerous. And I'm like, ouch,
Girl.
Katniss, how dare you?
But, I mean, did she lie, though?
She did not lie. Not a word of a lie. And then there's a passage of some hours and it's dawn. And she's sort of like, oh, did we get away with it? Did they just not, did nobody notice? And then she hears a crowd coming.
Yeah.
And it is the careers.
Yep.
And they attack her.
The girl who lit the fire, Katniss is thinking she must have dozed off because she doesn't have any reaction to the sound of these people approaching. She's caught completely unawares.
Yeah.
And they land on her. And the worst part about all of this is that Katniss can hear everything. And she knows it's a girl now because of the way the girl is crying and screaming and begging for her life. And then there is laughter and congratulations. Yep. And then someone yells out 12 down and 11 to go. And they all hoot and holler in celebration. And she realizes these motherfuckers are in a pack. They are roaming and fighting as a pack. And she's not even surprised. And she's watched enough of this shit on TV. She realizes that alliances are formed very early on in the games. And then once the weaker people are knocked off, then like the quote real fight begins. And she's just listening to everything, and she understands who it is. These are the career tributes. You know, it's 2 boys and 3 girls, districts 1, 2, and 4. And she hears them rummaging through this girl's supplies, trying to see if they find anything good. And Katniss
They're very
thinks,
disgusted because
right?
they do
Because
not.
they don't. And Katniss has a second where she thinks, God, I wonder if that's Rue. But then she
Yeah.
dismisses the thought because it's, one, I think it doesn't say it, but I think it's because it's just too hard to think of that. It's too hard to bear.
True, probably.
But she says she dismisses that because she's too bright to be building a fire like that. And I feel like that is the kind of thing you tell yourself when you don't want to acknowledge the real thing that's happening.
Certainly. Yeah.
And then, you guys,
Yeah.
they say, there hasn't been a cannon blast. Maybe she's not dead. And someone says, I'll go back. I'll go finish her and we'll move on. And it's fucking Peeta.
How about that?
How about that? Indeed.
What do you think of this development?
Y'all. So we find out, long story short, that they are, because when he goes back to finish off the girl, they talk amongst themselves, and it's very clear that they call him Lover Boy too, by the way, that they are only keeping him around because they believe that he can help them get to Katniss.
Correct.
But that doesn't answer our question as to why Peeta would let himself be involved with them.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going to be objective, I guess this is a way to go. Now the
that is the vaguest.
But wait, let me finish.
No.
So,
Yeah.
So keep in mind, because they split their training, right? Once Peeta decided to be trained separately from Katniss, we no longer have any information about what Haymitch told Peeta to do and what kind of strategy he gave him. So for all we know, this could have been part of the strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Haymitch could have said, "Hey, I don't know, but if there's any way possible, if there's some way for you to get in with them, do that. You know, whatever in you can manage, take advantage of it." And it would make sense to me that he wouldn't give Katniss the same advice, because Katniss is not Peeta. Peeta has a very easygoing nature, a very self-deprecating nature. He's the kind of person that can get in where he fits in a way
Right.
that Katniss cannot. So that advice would have been wasted on her. I don't know if that's what happened, but I'm just, I don't know what happened because I didn't get to see that. So it's possible that this is some advice he was given, or he could have come up with this on his own. And we also, again, and I said this last time on our last episode, I think it's really, really important to always remember the kind of family that Peeta comes from and what his circumstances are. Because when you were raised in an abusive home, you develop skills that are not always necessarily healthy, right? But you learn how to be what the people around you in power need you to be in order to protect yourself. And that is the kind of emotional intelligence that would lend itself to aligning with predators.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In order to keep yourself safe. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So he's really in a good position to work this kind of angle. So that's what I thought about that. I am curious because, and this leads me back to what I said earlier tonight about how Peeta seems to be very aware of how Katniss was living and surviving back home.
Yeah, that's true.
And so it seems to me that he would I'm not saying he would have known to look in the right tree, but it seems to me like he would have been aware of this is something that she does.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if he shared that with them. Like, hey guys, check the trees. Look up. Don't keep looking straight ahead. Look up. And best I can tell, he doesn't say that to anybody.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Huh. So you think he might be covering for her?
I think at this early juncture, he might be. He might, or rather, he is not being completely honest with them. He is not giving all of his information, everything he knows about her to them yet. Whether he will soon, I don't know. But I don't think he's giving them everything he knows about her yet.
Okay. Well, he goes, kills her. We get the cannon blast. And then they take off. And she says, I love this, teaming up with the career wolf pack, no one from District 12 would think of doing such a thing. And I'm like, well, ma'am, I don't know how to tell you this, but that's apparently quite wrong. Universally solidly hated by all but those from their own districts. I can imagine the things they're saying about him back home now. And Peeta had the gall to talk to me about disgrace. She is really taking this hard.
Yeah. This whole thing that she does, I love this bit too, because the careers have been talking about Peeta while he's gone, and she's listening to everything. And you know, they are all like, we'll just let him tag along. What's the harm? He's handy with that knife. And then she decides that she's going to like play for the cameras after they finally leave.
Yeah, she gives them a knowing look.
I wonder how like convincing that was,
because everybody really right.
Everybody keeps saying like how terrible she is. You know, she's this terrible actress. They couldn't include her in the plot about the star-crossed lovers thing. So I don't know if she's as successful as she feels like she was.
She thought she ate. So yeah, she has that little moment, and then this is where she begins pushing through looking for water and collapses and eventually is like, I think I just have to give up. And there's a bit where she's sort of trying to like, she's wondering if maybe there's a message being sent to her by Haymitch that like she's this. Close.
There's this whole thing too, and this took me again. I said it earlier. She is just like, I don't know what else to do, so I'm gonna ask Haymitch for help. I've got to have sponsors at this point, right? Between Peeta's, lover story and my 11 and how great I looked and even my twirling and giggling, I've got to have at least a fucking sponsor. So fuck it. I'm just going to ask for water. And I was like, you could just ask for shit? Because they had told us the importance of having sponsors like chapters ago, but it just didn't connect that you could be in the game in real time and just be like, help, and your sponsors will just like send you the shit that you need.
Oh my god.
So when she does that, I was like, what does she think's going to happen here? Oh, she thinks that somebody's just going to give her water.
I love that.
But nothing happens.
And no, it does not.
So first she starts to spiral. She's like, I was fucking kidding myself thinking I had fucking sponsors. People like me don't get sponsors. And then she's like, oh, wait, no. I had sponsors, but fucking Peeta pulled this bullshit with the careers, and now the sponsors are gone. And then she's like, oh, wait. Haymitch is in control, not the sponsors. And he hates me. He's going to just let me suffer out here and let me die? Wait. And it just goes on and on like that.
Oh my god, that is so true though. That's exactly what it's like.
And then finally she's like, what if he's not wasting a sponsorship because I'm so close? And that made me think of two different things. One was, it did not occur to me that your sponsor is a one and done deal, right? So you need so many because they can only help you, and then that's done, and you need another sponsor to help you the next time, right? I was thinking a sponsor is for the duration of the game. But apparently I don't know if I had the limit exactly right, but apparently there is some sort of restriction in place where you have to be careful how you use your sponsors.
Yeah, I'm going to give you just like a very like general sort of piece of info on this. A sponsor isn't necessarily going to be like, I'll pay for anything she needs. They will have a set amount of money they have contributed, and each thing you do costs a certain amount. So you have to budget what they are contributing, basically. Okay. So sometimes one sponsor can pay for more than one thing, and sometimes the thing you're sending is quite expensive, and so it will take all of the money from the budget, that sort of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
So she, like we talked about, puts iodine in the water, drinks, manages to actually be smart even in the midst of nearly dying, which I am perfectly healthy, not dying, and would not be this smart. So that is just great.
I do love the way that she realizes it too. This whole thing about the mud is very, very funny.
Yes.
She's just like, I love mud.
Mud.
It's been so good to me over the years.
And yeah, it finally comes through. Someone is like, wait a second, that's mud.
I really did enjoy that. And yeah, she crawls, and it's a little pond, and it's got lilies blooming, and she has, like you said, the presence of mind to not just dump her whole head in like I would have, and uses her iodine drops, which is a really good thing that she grabbed that backpack.
Indeed.
And waits a whole fucking half an hour, which I cannot even imagine after like 2 days of not having any water. And very gingerly drinks the water, and is just like, nobody died tonight. I'm just going to chill here. She digs up a bunch of roots, makes a little meal, has a little water, snuggles in her bag, and you're just like, you know what? She deserves this.
Yeah.
And then a few hours into her rest, her well-earned rest, she's awakened by a stampede of feet, and she looks around like, what the fuck is going on? And everything is on fire.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's how it ends, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Like, what the fuck? Why is everything on fire? Like,
questions that need answers.
Like, I have no idea. I have no idea what this is. I don't know if this is the game makers doing a thing. I don't know if another person lit a fire and it got wildly out of control. Like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Yep. So, any predictions here?
I mean, other than shit burning, no. Also, the stampede of feet bums me out. It sounds like we know that the careers are running in a pack. I don't know if it's enough of them to be a stampede, but I can't imagine who else is in a pack. So that makes me really, really nervous. And I feel like they are probably not starting the fire. They're probably also running from the fire. And maybe they're just running in her direction. Because they were at her tree like a day or two ago. So I'm not really sure. I don't, because I don't fully understand exactly how the game makers work in real time once the game is going and it's afoot. Like, can they throw in these types of obstacles to like shake the game up and get it going in a way that's more exciting? I wouldn't be surprised if they could, right? Like, let's throw some fire and see what happens.
I mean, she said that there was a
the
suspicion
avalanche
about that avalanche.
right.
Yeah.
So they can definitely do that. So they could just be like, maybe the game was starting to drag a little bit and they wanted to spice it up, so they threw a fucking forest fire in this bitch. And but the fact that these feet seem like they're stampeding towards her, it's not awesome. I also love too that she's like it says that she snuggled down in her sleeping bag, hanging on to my water bottle for dear life, which of course it is. I really enjoyed that because there's a whole thing where at one point she has like a plastic bottle and it's empty, and she's just like, would it have killed you to put water in this bitch?
Yeah.
Like, would it have killed
motherfuckers. She's so irritated. But yes, it would, Katniss, because showmanship means something to these people. You may not know the meaning of the word.
So I can't wait. I could have read ahead in theory, right? Because I had already read these chapters by last week. But I didn't, because I didn't want to like mix it up while we were recording.
You absolutely could not have read ahead in theory. No, ma'am.
No, but
no.
Oh, it's probably a good thing that I didn't then.
Yes. Yes, it is. This is all we're doing. I do not like the whole tone of that assumption, and I am going to need you to rein that assumption in.
I just felt like, since I told you last week that I had already read up to 12, that meant I could just go read the next one. I deserve that.
I do not approve of it. I'm going to do the villain sting. That was my face when I heard you say that. What? So I'm going to, I mean, you don't have any predictions? Do you have any, like, how long do you think we're in the arena for? Do you think this is the rest of the book? That's my main question.
Well, that's hard to say because I know that there are 2 more, right?
Sure.
Like if I was reading this in real time, I wouldn't be certain like what was coming next and how long the story panned out. But I feel like the bulk of this book is in the arena, and then maybe where the story is going next, because I think the broader story is definitely about more than just the games, right? So I feel like the bulk of this book is the games, and maybe as we get towards the end, something starts to shift.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that is a matter of Katniss and maybe Rue, maybe something happens with Peeta where there's a decision that's like, you know what? We're not doing this. We're going to do something different, right? Even though I can't really picture exactly what that looks like. But to answer your question, I think the bulk of this book is in the arena, and then a couple more people have to die.
Many more than a couple.
Right. Well, I think that as we go through this book, there's going to be a handful of tributes that we maybe haven't necessarily met yet, because we don't really know these people, you know. There's like the knife throwing girl, there's the careers, there's the one girl with the foxy face, you know, which is just such a weird way to characterize somebody. I don't know what to do with that. But at some point, there's going to be a like mind. There's going to be, you know, a small number of people that are just like, this is bullshit. And I feel like it's going to have to be the people from the outer districts. It'd be fun if there was like a career in there, but I don't know how they would do that. But I think that'd be really neat if you could get somebody like some sort of class solidarity, like maybe somebody from District 1 or 2 is like, you know what? This is bullshit. That'd be really cool. So
you don't think there's only going to be one man left standing?
I don't see how that's a three-part book. I mean, it's possible that the author does something completely unexpected where there really is only one person standing, and say it has to be Katniss because this is her story. And I know from the movies that, you know, she makes it through the third movie. She makes it to the third movie. I don't know if she makes it through the third movie. But I'm getting sidetracked. But it's possible that maybe Katniss wins the Hunger Games and the rest of the trilogy is about the dismantling of the games. Like maybe they all go back to the Capitol as like resistance agents and fuck shit up that way, and maybe that's where the story goes. But that's like a long shot. I don't think that's what it is, but it's possible.
Yeah, my main, like, I'm trying to picture how they could pull that off when they are in an environment where everything is so controlled.
See, and so, yeah, that's see, see the thing, and I don't want to get too deep into the weeds here, but I feel like even in such a controlled environment, if they could, because they're in an arena, right? They're not just like out in the tundra somewhere. They're in a controlled environment. And in order for an environment to be that controlled, there's got to be some sort of infrastructure that could be exploited. Whether that's like tunnels, trapdoor. Like, remember in Westworld how you could be out in the park, but there were also like trapdoors where you just open up a fucking, a rock, and next thing you know, you're underground and you're just back in the fucking lab. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's like, true.
It could be something like that, where somehow these kids realize, that this whole fake environment that they're in, they can access the real shit that's happening,
Okay.
But I don't know if that's where these books are going. I don't know. It's still so early, and I still have such a, like, I wish they did a good job setting up getting into the games, but there's still so much I don't know.
Yeah, true.
And I don't want to say I wish that she had spent more time, because I do want to get to like what we're getting to. But part of me does wish that there was a little bit, like I had a better understanding of like where they were and how it works,
Definitely.
So that I could then really start to theorize and go nuts. But I just don't have enough information yet.
Yeah, there will be a trickle of that as things unfold so that you understand more and more like the specifics of certain things, but there is some general info that you never get really, or that takes like, so long as to the location of this particular arena, for instance, things like that.
Right.
But well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I guess we will.
All right, so you guys know what time it is now. Hey, it's time for the new patrons. This week we have got Regis and Jamie Giacomi.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much for signing up and becoming a patron. We really appreciate you. If you're interested in becoming a patron as well and supporting the show, you can go to patreon.com/unspoiled. And you can also just like come and become a free patron just so that you can follow along with announcements. When I post that we're doing lives, like the recording I did with Miles was an impromptu live recording that we hadn't planned ahead to do, but it wound up working out. So I just posted the link to the Crowdcast on my Patreon, and, everybody who was able to just showed up. So if you're somebody who, enjoys little surprise events like that, you may want to just hop on over to Patreon and become a free level patron. And, especially if you don't like relying on the old algorithm to tell you what's going on. And Miles and I have just finished the 8th Sookie Stackhouse novel, and we are moving on to number 9 starting next week. So if you are interested in some really fun vampire fiction that goes quite off the rails at times, this last book, number 8, is the one that we have been calling the one without a plot, because it just feels like random shit happening in every direction with no discernible like rhyme or reason to it, which makes it really hard to talk about at times, because there's no natural progression of, and then that brings us to this scene. Nothing brings you to that scene. That scene simply happens and you're like, oh, okay, I guess that's happening. It's very, very weird. So anyway, if you are interested in hearing us giggle over some of that, go to patreon.com/unspoiled, become a $5 patron. And RoShawn and I have got to figure out what we are going to do for our unsobers for this month. So that's for $20 and up patrons. So yeah, you and I have got to chit chat about that and figure it out. But if you are interested in an extra 2 podcasts per month where RoShawn and I record live and then I post the actual, just the sound file, you should check that out as well. Patreon.com/unspoiled. I think that's everything. Anything else you want to add?
No, ma'am. Just looking forward to these next chapters.
Whee! All right, everybody. Until next time, toodaloo, motherfuckers.
Bye, guys.
Are you coming to the tree? They strung up a man, they say he murdered 3. Strange things can happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where dead men call out for his love to flee? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree.
That was an Unspoiled Network podcast.